Looks like we are rolling. It is a pre-record. You could probably tell because of how light the room is, that mid-afternoon sun trickling in through the window. Um, yeah, so here's the deal. I just got in from a 15-mile run, so I am fucking cooked. I'm training for a marathon. I was just out there. It's fucking windy, and I was running along the Hudson River and the mouth of New York Harbor over at Liberty State Park. So it is, whew, my dogs are barking, and I am the runner's high is interesting because you feel very good just like emotionally, but physically it just makes you want to sit down and relax. Your body feels just so fucking relaxed is the only way. It feels like I've been at a spa day. Other than the fact that my feet are fucking cooked. I have very wide feet, so after a while they just get fucking crushed inside of running shoes. Um, anyway, pre-record. It's a very important high school football game unfolding out in Bergen County tonight. My alma mater is playing for a state sectional championship. They've been there. I think they've gotten to it twice since I've graduated. They lost both of them. Um, the last time the Glen Rock Panthers won a state championship was your favorite podcaster, your favorite live streamer's senior year. We were the last of a run of 5 consecutive and 6 inside of 7 years. My senior year was the last one, so hoping the kids can do it tonight. But it was figured it would be good to go out and support them. I still some of my coaches are still on the coaching staff there. So I'm gonna go check that out, and then possibly the team that I coached for is also playing tonight in a state sectional championship game. If you win the section, you go on now. They didn't do this when I was growing up. They do it now. You go on to play for the full state. They used to just they'd stop it at the section because it was leaking into wrestling and basketball season. What they did was they pushed the start of the season back into fucking August. So they start the regular season now like a week before Labor Day. It's kind of weird. But they will continue to play if they win. So it's pretty cool. If nothing else, just an excuse to go grab some food in my hometown, hit up some local haunts, check out the football game, and just get the fuck out of the urban environment for a little bit. It's ridiculous. I did not appreciate when I was growing up how chill the suburbs were. And now I live in a city where there are just people like walking around throwing garbage everywhere, fucking spitting on the ground, dog shit all over the place. People walking around casually using the N-word. Well, I mean, that goes on a lot of suburban cafeteria tables too. But yeah, you forget how nice the suburbs are. So any excuse, I still go back to get my hair cut. I'll go back just for lunch to the burbs. There's so many good little eateries and stuff like that. It's just really, it is nice. If you live out in the suburbs, enjoy it. But anyway, I did want to get a show in because it's the holidays. There'll be reason enough to take time off. So I wanted to get one in, but I will have to. It might have to be somewhat truncated. I might have to cut it at 45 minutes or so. Yeah. Anyway, what was on the docket here? Oh yeah, I should probably tell the socials. That's always important. Twitter at Mike Montone, Instagram at Gary_Moyler MOYLER, YouTube at Mike's Golden Streams, and the best place to reach me is really in the YouTube comments. I have not checked my Twitter notifications in over a year. and I'm very rarely logged in on Instagram. So this be the place if you're trying to get in touch with me. I saw this going. I don't check my Twitter notifications, but I do spend a lot of time scrolling Twitter. I saw a debate going on. I guess there was some story about how a woman was pissed because she was hoping to pay for her honeymoon with money that people gave her for her wedding, and then I guess they stiffed her, or they only got her gifts off the registry, or some shit. Whatever it was, that was less the case than I think his name's Big Ev Double. I think they call him Double Vodka Don from Barstool had tweeted that. I think he said something like, minimum 100 a person when you go to a wedding. And this sparked a furious discourse in the comments underneath his tweet. People were blown away that he would say something like that. They were calling it insane. They were to the point where they were saying that if you're expecting people to give you a cash gift, then you shouldn't have a wedding at all because it means you can't afford it, which I tend to agree that people way overspend on having their weddings. But if you know someone is throwing a somewhat lavish wedding and you have been invited, then what you're saying is, I'm going to this lavish event to celebrate with you. And, it is customary then to give, a sizable gift. I think 100 a person is almost low end. I think the 100 a person is a good rule of thumb when you are, I would say, I think the cutoff on that is around your early 30s. Obviously, it depends on your individual financial situation, of course. How much money you're making can fluctuate through the years. So, you might be like, I was making more when I was in the Marine Corps than I was when I got started in radio. So, I would have been able to afford to give more when I was 24 than I could when I was, say, fucking 29 or 30 or whatever. Then now I like I like to give a hefty sum if I can. I mean, a hefty sum for me, which is like, it used to be when I was younger, I was in my 20s, it was a close friend, I would do like 300 or so. Now it's like, now I'm getting to the point where I feel like if you just invite me to your wedding, I feel like I have to come in as an individual at least 200 to 300. And then if you're bringing a date, you got to tack on, another hundo or so on top of that. So I think the older you get, the more money you make, the more you should be giving. If it's like a family member, when you get up into your 50s, 60s, if your niece or something like that gets married, I think at that point you should be giving like multiples of thousands. That's like a 5G. That's like one of those things that you're like, yeah, you take a little bit of this from the life savings to spread the wealth around. But people were objecting aggressively. I was very confused by that. I probably should have saved this for a night when I was live, because I would love to see what the comment section has to say. But by the way, once again this week, if you can hear the dogs howling in the background, to my knowledge, there is not a full moon out right now because it's fucking 3:30 in the afternoon. So I don't know what they're going ballistic about. Michael Vick may have just walked in. I keep using that one. I got to come up with something better. Yeah, I didn't, and I guess maybe this is. Some people pointed out that elsewhere in the country, like if you get out into flyover country, they don't really giving money isn't a big thing. In New Jersey, cash is the fucking gift. Like, you're kind of like, there might be a registry because there's some people who think that it's like just a tradition to have a gift registry or whatever. But you go to a New Jersey wedding and, the expectation is that you're dropping a fucking envelope. But it was explained by some of the commenters that around the rest of the country, that's not the case, which I had no idea. I'm gonna save myself quite a few bucks on some of my Marine Corps buddies' fucking birthdays that I flew out to and dropped cash on. But interesting. That argument comes up online a lot, and I'm always very curious about it. I haven't had a wedding to go to in quite some time. I got through the overwhelming majority of my friend group. Got theirs out of the way. I would say by the time I bookended the pandemic with weddings. I went to a wedding that Friday, I think it was a Friday night. The Friday night when everything was shutting down around here. I think it was actually Friday the 13th, possibly. I went to one that night, and it was Friday, like that March 13th, 2020. I went to one, and that one was very ominous. It felt like the bubonic plague was about to sweep over the land. It was just a very weird feeling. It was the last social gathering I went to before everything imploded. I remember going when I got home from the wedding that weekend. It was like Saturday afternoon. I got back and they were like, "Oh yeah, like the gyms are closing it at like 5 today," and then they're temporarily closed. Like, it was when things were sort of like the cascade was beginning, and then found out that everyone would be working remote beginning on Monday. But yeah, and then I went to one right when things were like opening up again. I guess you would call it. This was 2021 when things started to sort of return to normal. I went to a wedding also in New Jersey, another Jersey wedding. This is now becoming less and less interesting. But anyway, speaking of festivities, it was the Marine Corps birthday last Sunday. I have like a couple buddies around here who are Marines, so every other year or so I'll meet up with them for a drink. Sunday's a weird one because some people go out and get like plastered on Sundays, and then like if you're like me, Sunday is just like a chill at home day, especially when there's 12 hours of football to be watched. I did go to a Diwali party, which is always a a good time. I love a fucking Diwali party because you just get stacks and stacks of free Indian food, which I'm a big fan of food in general. I'm a fucking glutton. I just emptying my asshole the day after this thing. Because I was eating all day. Like there was no stop to it. I worked out in the morning. I had a shake and a banana after I worked out, and then I had fucking steak and eggs. And then after that, I had like a bunch of leftovers from dinner at my aunt and uncle's house on Friday night. I had fucking what the fuck? There was I had sausage, pasta, some spinach, and some leftover clams. So I hammered all of that, and then went to Diwali and had multiple plates of chicken and rice with whatever this fucking cream sauce they had. And they had these chicken sliders, which were also very, very good. And I ate a flaming, I guess it was like a donut hole that they dipped into fucking sambuca and then lit with a torch. And then I ate the flaming dessert. So I was letting them fly on Monday morning. It was a good one. Yeah. But the Marine Corps birthday every year around the Marine Corps birthday, and I'm sure this is the same way with a lot of Marines or former Marines, is I like you just get the itch to like put all the gear back on and go out and leave the civilian world behind, the worries of the civilian world. I will say this: the being in the Marine Corps, there's like a lot of bullshit, like dealing with whoever, whatever, fucking chain of command, this, and rules of engagement, that, and insurgents, and just the fact you could get blown up at work, death and dismemberment are within the scope of possibility on any given day at the office. There is all that, but there is something that I can't quite put my finger on what it is, but like there's this palpable difference between civilian world and the military, and there's like, again, there's so all you do when you're on active duty in the military is bitch about the military. So it's funny, like now I think about it, I'm like, oh, there's so many days where I'm like, it would just be for day-to-day life to just revolve around go carrying a bunch of fucking weapons out into the woods, fucking sleeping outside, getting ready to go to fucking different countries to do Marine Corps shit, travel, fucking not have just any concerns outside of that. And part of this is probably because I was 23 years old when I was doing this, so there just weren't the weight of life hadn't really kind of stacked up yet. But yeah, like I remember being in Thailand. We finished training with the Thais, and then we were just staying at the unit fucking got us a deal on hotel rooms at this beachfront resort, like 30 minutes outside of Pattaya. And for 2 weeks, while we were waiting for our flight back to Okinawa, all we did was fucking drink, hang out by the pool, fucking go into Pattaya, go out at night, drink more, fucking go to sex shows, it was like 2 weeks of going to strap-on shows every night. Like, and we had, we'd been out in the field for a month, so there were a good, I want to say 2 paychecks built up just sitting there. Like that's usually like, and usually you don't have to spend that much when you're in the military. Your housing and everything like that is taken care of, but that's just 2 full paychecks waiting for you in a low cost of living place like Pattaya, Thailand. When you get out of the fucking jungle is incredible. Like a plate of fucking prawn fried rice does not cost a lot of money. Like you just walk around drinking a fucking San Mig Light, smoking some the cigarettes all have fucking, the packs over there have like pictures of black decomposing lungs, and you're fucking puffing away, walking down Walking Street in Pattaya. Oh, incredible. Yeah. I wish someone would tell you they're the good old days while you're still living them, because that was such an incredible time. Now, every once in a while, you get hit with like a hazing investigation or something like that, or a fucking Mark 19 round fucking detonates inside of the barrel of the machine gun, and it frags a bunch of Marines, and you got to do a fucking report on it, and shit gets a little wiry, sure, but otherwise, it's just a lot of drinking, whoring, and blowing things up. God bless. God bless the United States Marine Corps. So a couple of items to discuss. I guess, in the news. I saw this article, and this, we always wind up talking about this around the holidays. Is fucking it's like political friction. And one of the things I have noticed, and this is to get out ahead of this, I will say the you know there's sort of a meme of like the drunk MAGA uncle. Those guys are certainly out there. We don't have any in my family. All of the political extremists in my family are fucking raging libs. Um, so we do not have a drunk MAGA loving uncle. I actually have an uncle who he has never met Donald Trump in his life, and I have never seen a person express such disgust for another human being. Which is a great segue into this article here. Yale psychiatrist urges MSNBC viewers to shun Trump voting family members over the holiday. Now, I don't think anyone in my family has any plans to shun anyone. If someone in my family wanted to shun another family member, they would have there's been reason enough given. It would have been done already. And I would say most people in my family, myself included, are quite shunnable for many, many reasons. But I don't think you should do it over politics. A Yale-affiliated psychiatrist encouraged LGBTQ plus people whose family members voted for Donald Trump to cut ties and shun their relatives over the upcoming holidays as fallout from the election reached hysteria on MSNBC. This is the New York Post, of course. This is Dr. Amanda Calhoun. Wow, what a name, Dr. Amanda Calhoun. Dug into the issue of post-election crises in the LGBTQ plus community with MSNBC's Joy Reid. She says there is a societal push that if somebody is your family, they are entitled to your time. And I think the answer is absolutely not. But I mean, first of all, I think Trump is I think he's just ambivalent when it comes to gay and trans stuff. Like, I truly do not think that he cares. I don't think he thinks about it. I think he's got other things that he's concerned with and that he doesn't like. Yeah, I don't think there's a thought that crosses his mind about it, other than maybe the trans women in girls sports thing, which is like the most reasonable objection in the world, by the way. That's not even born of bigotry. It's a reasonable thing to object to. Someone who's had testosterone coursing through their veins for years, competing against a gender that is estrogen based, that could create some danger on the playing field. If I'll put it this way: if any of the kids who are playing in the game that I'm going to tonight are juicing, they're not injecting themselves with estrogen. Well, I mean, they might be to balance out the ratio of test to estrogen, but they're not using the estrogen to enhance performance. I can assure you that. Back in the day, a game like this, we would take either Yellow Jackets or Ripped Fuel before the game, get you fucking cranking. And so focused too. That's what I loved. It wasn't even the energy; it was the focus. So if you're going through a situation where you have family members, you have close friends who have voted in ways that are against you, that are against your livelihood, then it's completely fine not to be around those people and tell them why. I don't remember at any time anyone saying that trans people or gay people are not worthy of employment. So how would that be against their livelihood? I have a problem with the way that you voted because it went against my very livelihood, and I'm not going to be around you this holiday. I need to take some space from me. What all this bullshit about taking space is really getting fucking old. I heard there were schools that were letting kids take off because of the stress of the election. If children are stressed out over a presidential election, it is the fault of their parents and the teachers. There is no reason. I remember when I was a kid growing up and there was a presidential election. I remember being sort of vaguely aware of it, and they did like one of those things like, where we had the election in the classroom, where the class voted for president. And that was it. And like maybe we learned about the presidents or something like that, but there was no children shouldn't be stressed out over a presidential election because there's no reason to expose elementary school kids to the kind of ideas that would stress them out. You know, fucking third graders don't need to hear about abortion or fucking, whatever the fuck else. People being slaughtered by drone in the Ukraine, fucking, well, they're already being exposed. Drag queen story hours is going on fucking everywhere. By the way, if you're allowed to push certain ideologies on kids, that's, yep, they just not the wrong ones, huh? Calhoun appeared on the liberal network's The Readout in response to reports of a massive increase in crisis calls from LGBTQ youth in the wake of Trump's staggering win this week. Yeah, because here's what's happened. Under Trump's presidency, many rights and protection for trans people as other members of the LGBT plus community are likely to be under serious threat, advocates say. Here's the thing. He's been president once already, and nothing happened. Like literally, I think the only actual policy as it relates to trans people that, like, again, like I said, that Trump has any interest in might be the sports thing. And I certainly wouldn't go so far as to say that puts trans people in danger in any way whatsoever. I think we've just created a generation of hysterics. I think millennials were the first generation of hysterics, but it wasn't all of us. It was like a split. Like there are many different millennials. There are the there are the hysterics. There are the pussies and the hysterics, of which there are many. There are the basics. I know a lot of basic millennials. Basic millennials are the kind of people who like, the all white kitchen with the slate gray marble fucking countertop and live, laugh, love everywhere, all over the house. And they take a picture at a pumpkin patch every year, but they're deeply unhappy and they're just playing house because their parents and grandparents wanted them to. Those are the basics. Though they drink a lot of pumpkin spice lattes, a lot of pumpkin flavored beers, a lot of fantasy football just to stay sane, a lot of pickleball. Just getting out in the morning, putting a smile on our face. Yep, and they play pickleball against another couple, and there's a weird sexual tension because his husband wants to bang her husband wants to bang his wife wants to bang her husband. They'd probably be better off just switching, going their separate ways. But they got kids in the mix now, and that's that. And then that's like the bulk of my generation. And then there's my sliver where we joined the military and fought in a two-theater war and can in no way relate to the rest of the generation. But the hysterics in my generation gave birth to hysterics in the generation below us, which I believe I think that's Gen Z, I believe. I believe that is Gen Z. And they are a hysterical bunch, that David Hogg and his friends. All they do is freak out and whine. They're very strange. They're like, I see them all when I walk around, like the fucking kids who are in their like late teens and 20s. And so many of the, like, I know that lifting weights is big amongst that generation. There are some of them are fucking jacked. Like, they're those two trend twins on Instagram. Kids are fucking yoked. But generally, it's such a generation of people that, like, I'm almost 40, and I'm pretty sure whenever I see like a group of like guys in their 20s, I'm just like, I feel like I could bully all of you if I wanted to. Like, it's just so, there's such, it's just a weird group to watch. Like, they're all walking around hiding underneath baggy clothes, and I'll get to a little of that in a moment here. But they're all hiding on they hide, they literally, when they go out, they hide underneath baggy clothes. Baggy clothes and comfortable shoes, and they're all just fucking, they're all tucked up in there, fucking just hiding. It's the strangest thing in the world. Like, they really do seem like they are just, like, there's an existential threat everywhere they go. Now, I walk around worried about existential threats because I've been to a place where people, shoot rockets at you and throw grenades and fucking, every step you take, the ground could explode. But my posture is much more one of, I will kick your fuck. If you fucking step to me, I will fucking kill you. That is not a threat against anyone specific, but I do spend a lot of time walking around urban areas in the late night, early morning hours. So when I view threats, you just got to be, I understand how Daniel Penny got to where he is. Let us pray that this episode is never used as evidence at my manslaughter trial, because I was on a fucking subway car and a Michael Jackson impersonator. Well, I guess the Michael Jackson impersonator's dead. A Chuck Berry impersonator fucking starts threatening to kill people, and I have to put him in a chokehold. You wind up getting railroaded like Daniel Penny. Just incredible. Incredible. I don't know if Trump has the power to, because I think that's like a state or a city case. But if he gets into office, I wish there was a way he could, if this guy gets fucking convicted, could vacate that or throw out that conviction. So this is Joy Reid now following this up. She's saying Latino men who, despite the utter disrespect shown by Trump and his promise to deport some of your mixed status family, most of them voted in a 55% majority to make the deportations happen. Y'all voted Stephen Miller, David Duke, and against your own sisters. I'm confused. Is David Duke being given a cabinet position? Against your own sisters who chose Kamala Harris with 60% of their votes. So you own everything that happens to your mixed status families and to your wives, sisters, and abuelas from here on in, she insisted. Yeah, I don't know. This is all unhinged. Anyway, they don't want people to spend Thanksgiving together. That is the crux of all of this. And I don't know if we needed to parse through all of Joy Reid's fucking ramblings to get to it, but they want you to either fight over Thanksgiving or not spend it together. And I don't I just don't understand people whose personalities are so they're so online political that they decide now I have to start attacking my family over it. Like, I think people who are so online that they're, just ranting and raving about things, especially now, like back, there was a time when I think it was just much more common to post your thoughts or whatever on like Facebook or fucking whatever because we just hadn't been through the drill. And I think it's weird if you're still doing it. Like, I feel like everyone kind of, after a while, was like, oh, yeah, actually, this is stupid. Like, at first, it was like this novel thing. Like, I can say, Napoleon Dynamite sucks and make it my Facebook status. And now if I see someone who's posted a Facebook status, I'm like, this is fucking weird. This is really, really fun. What did you need to let us know that? And then, the 6 paragraphs of arguing underneath. Don't bring it to Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving. Just eat food, watch football, fucking disconnect from everything. That is what you do on Thanksgiving. Disconnect, be with your family, have a nice slice of pie. There's 3 fucking football games on. You don't need to worry about anything else. Then you got days off, watch movie. There's another football game on the day after Thanksgiving. Then there are going to be more on Saturday and then on Sunday. You just watch football and eat fucking leftovers the entire week. Go to Wednesday night, you go to the bar, hometown bar, catch up with some old friends. Leave politics at home. No one cares. I want to go back to a time when no one gave a shit about politics. Like, I know it's become cliche to say, yeah, there's a time you didn't know who your neighbor voted for. But I think that we should get back to a time where you didn't know who your neighbor voted for. Like, who fucking cares? I don't, like the 90s, politics was, hey, did you hear the president got his dick sucked? Like, that was the political discourse in the 1990s. For people to finally start talking politics, there had to be a president getting blown. And I think it was a good time. If we're going to talk about politics, it should involve the president getting filleted. Okay. So I'm at about 37 minutes here. There were 2 other stories I wanted to do. One is not so much a story. Maybe this one's just a quick aside. And then I'll close on the last story. Millennials are defending wearing classic 50s outerwear despite scorn from others, calling it a timeless piece. And the timeless piece is the jean jacket. And I just want to go on record saying that I think the jean jacket is one of the most hideous pieces of clothing in the world. There is no reason for anyone to wear a denim jacket. It is just bad. There's no situation that you can present to me other than maybe like you like a cowboy or on a work site or something along those lines where I think you should be wearing a jean jacket. You have so many options in terms of clothing now. In the year 2024, you just order whatever fucking item of clothing you want on Amazon. It'll be there the next day. As long as you know your size, you're good. You don't need a jean jacket. It's just not it's not a flattering piece of attire. And there's nothing that it really goes with either, because jeans are the main pants. And you can't wear jeans up top and down low because it looks horrible. And I just don't. I've never seen anyone wearing a jean jacket pull it off. And I've seen like, if you're going to like the advertisement for a jean jacket, you would say, this is the best that anyone is ever going to wear this jacket. Like we made it so that, when photographed and presented to the general public, this person wearing this jean jacket would make people uh, spend their money on jean jackets. This is the best we could present the jean jacket. And even at that, I find it to be just a disgusting article of clothing. The look to me screams low class. It's adult who hangs out at a roller rink, and not adult who goes to a roller rink on a one-off as like a fun thing, the way people go like hatchet throwing or to a driving range or something like that. I'm talking adult who spends his time at a roller rink. That's who has a jean jacket. I'm just not. You shouldn't wear one. Don't wear one. There are better jackets. Leather, fleece, a pea coat. Those puffer ones are great. I love those. I have a great winter coat. It's faux fur lined on the inside, so it keeps you nice and cozy. And it's got a big collar and everything like that. Very comfortable. There are overcoats, leather jackets, track jackets, hoodies, all sorts of outerwear that one can go with. But leave the jean jacket. Leave it alone. We don't need it. Okay. We're at 42. All right. Just a quick look here. This missionary was murdered in Angola. His wife, I guess, his wife had her boyfriend pay a couple guys $50,000 to murder this guy. They had been in, as the New York Post reports, the remote bush in the West African nation. They had set up a mission there in 2021, and apparently a guard hired by the family stabbed Bo to death in his vehicle outside of the city of Lubango, where the family lived in a walled compound. It was his wife. She organized the hit, and I guess two other guys. Oh, a third man is at large. So she had a few guys working on this one. I certainly wouldn't call her hot. She's definitely not. She is far from an Angola fucking stabbing. She is not the kind of chick. She's not the kind of chick I would commit homicide for. And she's certainly not the kind of chick who I would want to be homicided as a result of. Tough one for this guy. To have a chick who isn't hot murder you because her pussy is so popular that's a tough way to go out. Apparently, she promised $50,000 for the hit. She gave the guard $400 to help plan the attack in the remote bush area near the municipality Humpata, where Bo is helping to start a farm. So this guy's out. I mean, there's so much of this. I think of the way the world comes together when things like this happen. So this is a family. I think they're from where are they from? Like Minnesota or some shit? Let's see. They're from Detroit Lakes, but I think is Detroit Lakes in Michigan or is it in Minnesota? It is in Minnesota. That's very confusing. Detroit Lakes is in Minnesota, but there are many, many, many lakes in Minnesota. So I guess they ran out of names and they started stealing from Michigan. Anyway, so you're a fucking you're just a guy growing up living in Minnesota. How you go from being a kid, on the playground, in the cafeteria, just regular kid in class. You're sitting around. Think of your elementary school, your third grade class, and just think back to a random day in elementary school, whatever kind of day you can remember. When it sticks out, whatever that is, and think about some of the things you did that day, and some of the kids you did them with, whatever you were finger painting or you did show and tell. That a few decades later, the path of one of your classmates' life was going to lead them to be stabbed to death in the bush in Angola by a fucking West African guy who was banging his wife. Like that is when you draw the straw of life and you come up with that one, that is just fascinating. Like fate just works in fascinating ways. And then I think of this spot out in the bush in Angola that has since the dawn of time, literally, what it has seen over the years, right? Africa, sort of like the birthplace of the human race, and all that has just taken place, the tribal battles and the colonization, and even before that, though, all of the animals, the dinosaurs, all of the different shit that has gone on in the bush in Angola, where it has escaped the reaches of modernity. It lies outside of the city. This chunk of Angola remains as it was when dinosaurs roamed the earth. When fucking, when Alexander, whoever, came down into northern Africa, when all of this shit, it has remained the African bush forever. And somehow, think thousands of years ago when there was a giant tiger fucking stalking its prey in this section of the bush. Did the universe know that at some point some poor bastard from Minnesota was going to come here and be stabbed to death by the guy who was supposed to be his guard, who had been banging his fucking five of a wife? It's just the path that we take is always fascinating to me. And it's amazing that if you zoom out, as Carl Sagan has told us, if you zoom out far enough, it's all just a pale blue dot. Interesting, isn't it? Anyway, we'll wrap things up. I have a ball game to get to. It is football season, baby. Hopefully live next week. I'm hoping. That is the plan. Right now, the plan is to be live. We'll see if we can pull it off. Until then, Twitter at Mike Montone, Instagram at Gary_Moyler, Moyler, and YouTube at Mike's Golden Streams. And you can find the audio version of the show, the Savage Sacktap, wherever you download podcasts. Although I'm usually a few days behind on uploading, so really here's the place to be, as they call it. All right, adios, motherfuckers.